Oh Sandra, me la voglio vedere quella frase che ha letterata. Fatemi la foto. Quella di Erasmus. Quella che c'è sullo schermo.
Sarebbe ora.
Welcome everybody. Benvenuti a tutti, buongiorno. Benvenuti a questo interessante incontro che è un evento moltiplicatore, no? Fa un po' da cassa di risonanza quello che è l'ambizioso progetto che come Istituto Malafarina abbiamo in questi anni portato avanti, Englife.
Welcome everybody, and it is an honor for him to welcome all of you in the framework of this prestigious project that we have run so far in these 2 last years.
Sono particolarmente contento e orgoglioso di ospitare la delegazione qui presente e tutti gli autorevoli componenti del tavolo di presidenza.
He's really proud of hosting so many important people, such as the delegation from Poland, the 3 delegations from Poland, and the delegation from Greece and from the island.
A cominciare dalla presidente della Luminar Foundation della Polonia.
So, on behalf of the president of the Englife Foundation, which is the major coordinator, we have Ms. Nicolina.
Con lei saluto anche la carissima dottoressa Crescente, che è la referente pedagogica dell'ufficio scolastico regionale, che ha patrocinato questa interessante iniziativa. Grazie dottoressa Crescente.
We also wanted to meet Nadia Crescente, who is in charge of the Erasmus program dissemination in the framework of the regional Ministry of Education in Calabria, and we often act in collaboration with this office.
Prego la dottoressa Crescente di portare i saluti al direttore generale dell'ufficio e al dirigente dell'ufficio del dottor Greco, che segue con particolare interesse, insieme al dottor Beni in casa, l'evoluzione, no, delle attività dell'Erasmus. Grazie anche e benvenuta a tutti coloro che interverranno, alla nostra professoressa Moniaci, Deus ex machina, si può parlare anche latino, no? Deus ex machina della progettazione Erasmus, e poi il capo dipartimento della lingue straniere della Platon School of Greca, e infine alla coordinatore Erasmus della Polonia, che è qui presente, alla docente di lingua inglese tutti gli intervenuti, al professor Cherubino, il nostro docente ITP, che affianca nello staff tutte le attività dell'Erasmus e che effettivamente ha introdotto, ecco, una ventata, una primavera, è il caso di dirlo, di innovazione nel nostro istituto.
He has started all the delegation from Spain, from Greece, from Ireland, and he also started me, but it's not important, but he sent a particular thanks to Mr. Cherubino with his new wave of technological shade inside the Erasmus Plus program. Thanks, Mr. Cherubino.
Un saluto particolare anche a tutti i docenti e i dirigenti, a chi è collegato e segue questo evento in diretta streaming.
He wants also to greet all the people who are connected via streaming, and you will have the chance to see and to review it again, both through the YouTube link, but also inside the website of Englife Project.
Così come un saluto ai nostri studenti, agli studenti che sono ospiti nella nostra scuola e a tutti gli altri che delle altre scuole ci stanno seguendo a distanza.
So he wanted also to thank the delegation from Azzorre who are taking part in this week in group school mobility in the framework of school accreditation to all our students and also to the teachers that came from other schools who joined us today.
Così come un caloroso ringraziamento e benvenuto lo diamo anche all'amministrazione comunale di Soverato, qui presente con il signor sindaco, l'architetto Daniele Vacchi, il vice sindaco, il dottor Emanuele Amoroso e la delegata all'istruzione, la professoressa Caterina Gatti.
And a special thanks to the municipality. Today we have the honor of having here the mayor, the vice mayor, and even the responsible in charge of education from the municipality, Ms. Gatto.
Una nota tutta personale, io sono sempre particolarmente emozionato ogni qualvolta c'è un'iniziativa simile, perché è anche una bellissima novità nella mia esperienza da dirigente scolastico, che ho avuto modo di avviare già nella scuola che ho diretto precedentemente e che ora mi trova così pienamente coinvolto in questo istituto che ormai da anni si pone come modello, no, a livello regionale per quanto riguarda il progetto Erasmus. Ed è una emozione particolare anche perché è una di quelle esperienze in cui tocchiamo con mano come Erasmus sia veramente la migliore opportunità per un'Europa migliore. Quello
So every if he joined other events, Erasmus events, he's particularly honored, and it is always a strong emotion to participate in these kinds of events. For a team, for a school that has gained in the course of the year a special reputation and has surely enriched the Erasmus Plus program at the regional level.
Perché tutti coloro che hanno la possibilità di beneficiare ormai da 35 anni di questa grande opportunità, in modo particolare i nostri giovani, sono coloro che hanno potuto respirare veramente un'aria di libertà in Europa, capace di abbattere anche i confini politici, le tante barriere che invece per altri motivi continuano a destare molta preoccupazione.
Erasmus Plus program has a special connotation. It's because it allowed a lot of students to join the European spirit of friendship, of peace, notwithstanding also the current barrier that still permeate our world.
Grazie all'Erasmus le nostre aule scolastiche si dilatano e superano una dimensione spaziale e temporale per abbracciare tutta l'Europa in quei valori di fratellanza, di solidarietà, di pace, di superamento di quelle che sono le caratteristiche di ognuno per abbracciare le caratteristiche di tutti. Con Erasmus si realizza veramente l'inclusione, si realizza veramente un accoglimento della diversità come ricchezza.
Thanks to Erasmus, we have the chance to expand not only physically but also mentally our classes. Thanks to Erasmus, our spirit of inclusion became implemented more and more so that we can all embrace, notwithstanding the diversity that characterizes each nation, a spirit of European unity.
Io ho detto nel grande evento che abbiamo celebrato quest'anno ad ottobre per i 35 anni, no, dell'Erasmus, nell'Erasmus Day, mi sono permesso di dire che Erasmus supera una dimensione spaziale, fisica e diventa quasi per i nostri studenti un luogo dell'anima che conservano perché è utile per la loro crescita, per la loro formazione, per l'accrescimento delle loro competenze, tra le quali quelle dell'apprendimento della lingua inglese, cui il progetto Englife fa particolare riferimento.
Thanks to Erasmus, there is a special place which is built day after day. It is located inside the soul of our students who have the chances to join it. We had the opportunity during the Erasmus Days this year in October to host the two major important coordinators. And in that occasion, she stressed the accent about this universality and this universal dimension of Europe, and which is associated with Erasmus.
Concludo con il dire che per noi questa anche una occasione straordinaria, un'opportunità per rispondere anche a quelle che sono le esigenze di ogni singolo istituto di approfondire le competenze, migliorare le competenze di lingua inglese, anche perché questi contribuiscano a un miglioramento degli esiti delle prove IVALSI. La grande opportunità del PNRR in che è investito in maniera straordinaria il sistema scolastico italiano non può fare a meno che potenziare anche l'esperienza Erasmus nell'ottica del raggiungimento di quelli che sono gli obiettivi che questa straordinaria, torno a dire, occasione ci offre.
According to the plan of resilience which has been adopted after COVID, the language improvement competence is one of our aims, so that we try to succeed in implementing these skills not only with Erasmus but also thanks to the plan of resilience, because learning language has become a fundamental basis for the growth, for the entrepreneurial spirit, according also to the IVALSI test which are administered each year.
Concludo con un augurio, soprattutto ai nostri studenti, ma che è valido per ognuno di noi, che è l'augurio che da sempre Erasmus abbina alla propria attività. Enrich your life, open your mind, arricchisci la tua vita, apri la tua mente. Vorrei che la sintesi, lo slogan finale di questa giornata fosse quello che noi abbiamo posto all'ingresso della nostra scuola come messaggio di benvenuto. Erasmus is the beginning of the rest of your life. Thank you very much.
Okay. I would like to give the word just a moment to our major, because even if he was really busy today, he accepted to come here just for a while.
Buongiorno, grazie. Grazie all'Istituto Tecnico Malafarina per l'invito e per questa sempre presente collaborazione tra l'amministrazione comunale e l'istituto stesso. Grazie alla delegazione del benvenuto a nome della città che mi onoro di rappresentare, alla delegazione polacca, greca e irlandese. E portoghese. Diamo il benvenuto, spero di avere la possibilità di poi farvi accompagnare per visitare la nostra città, il nostro mare, per portare un ricordo proprio nelle vostre poi città di provenienza, proprio della bellezza del paesaggio che troviamo nella nostra città.
Okay. He wanted to thank for the invitation, and because we always act in synergy with the municipality, and he wanted also to invite you to a tour of Soverato. Today we will be in Soverato Superiore. Then, thanks to one of our teachers, we will also visit La Pietà, so that they can also embrace some culture pets which are proper to our specific places.
Ringrazio per l'opportunità che si dà ai nostri ragazzi. Io qua, oltre da sindaco, entro come ex allievo dell'Istituto Tecnico per Geometri e quindi quando vengo che il preside Saverio Candelieri mi invita, faccio un raffronto che è stato quello negli anni che abbiamo frequentato noi e quello di oggi. E dico che l'opportunità oggi che si rivolge agli studenti è molto più alta e molto più ampia. E il progetto Erasmus, quindi ringrazio la professoressa Moniaci perché, come diceva il preside Candelieri, è una macchina sempre in fermento, un vulcano. E quindi questa opportunità ci permette di dare ai ragazzi di vivere in un mondo globale e quindi di rompere i confini, come diceva il preside, ma di dargli quell'opportunità di relazionarsi con culture diverse. Quindi di questo ringrazio tutti e davanti a questi progetti l'amministrazione non può restare ferma e le scuole della nostra città hanno sempre un pieno sostegno. Grazie a tutti e buon lavoro.
He wanted to thank the headmaster for inviting him here. Actually, he had been a student here, and he really appreciates how the school has evolved in this time, and how also thanks to the Erasmus program, the students have the chance to communicate, to interact, and to break all the barriers in the European and in the world in general. Thank you. Now, I would like to give the word to one of our great guests. He is Mr. John Daly, and he is the CEO of one of the best school I have ever visited. He runs an academy and he's also a course provider for Erasmus. And I can assure from my personal experience, but also my students will testify it later, that you can really enjoy studying English inside his school, his academy. Mr. John Daly.
Good morning, good afternoon. As I say, my name is John Daly and I'm from the west coast of Ireland, from a lovely city called Galway. And I am really, really delighted to be here this morning. My first impression of the school, I'm very proud of my own school. I started it 30 years ago and built it from a very small school to, I hope, what is now a lovely school, internationally well known. But this morning I saw a wonderful infrastructure, a wonderful investment in education in this school. It is palpable when you walk around what is happening here. The teaching, the organisation, just the commitment to improving students' learning experience and also for the teachers.
Lui gestisce delle scuole da 30 anni, però è davvero riuscito ad apprezzare, ha percepito l'essenza di questa scuola, ben condotta dal nostro dirigente, che è ben dotata di molte attrezzature tecnologiche all'avanguardia e anche uno staff ben preparato.
Can I just thank everybody for being here? This is an exciting project. Englife is an exciting project which we as Atlantic Language and our partners here today are trying to create a teaching technology of English that will be useful and relevant to students' experience and to teachers. And so there are many teachers and students here today. And we feel this project and Erasmus' investment in these type of projects are really future-proofing the learning experience of English language going forward. And for me, that's very exciting.
Voleva ancora ringraziare per la possibilità di essere qui e crede davvero nello scopo principale del nostro progetto, che è quello appunto di applicare la tecnologia allo studio delle lingue straniere per renderle più accattivanti, più interessanti.
Last week, or about 10 days ago, some of the students I can see here visited Galway, and students from all of these different schools also attended our school. They visited a local Irish high school and they interacted with local Irish students. It was wonderful to see it in action. The confidence and the resilience that students will gain from that experience of traveling to another country, meeting their counterparts in an existing Irish school. You can't underestimate the value of that. And this is what I think Erasmus is really, the vision is about, is creating that collaboration among the European partners, and Englife is really encapsulating that.
Soltanto 10 giorni fa circa alcuni studenti selezionati da questo istituto hanno avuto l'opportunità di confrontarsi, di interagire in modo diretto con altri studenti che provenivano sia dalle scuole greche che dalle scuole serbe che dalle scuole polacche. E questa è la spinta particolare che fornisce il programma Erasmus, quella appunto di abbattere le barriere, di creare dei rapporti che dureranno tanto tempo e di migliorare nello stesso tempo delle competenze.
So, I will say my ultimate is thank you so much for welcoming us here. Thank you so much for bringing us and inviting us to Savina and to Claudio. It has been a tremendous journey meeting you, seeing your passion for Erasmus projects. It has brought us into it. It has improved our school. It has improved our network and relationships. And it's been a fantastic growth experience for our school. So thank you, a million thank yous, as we say in Ireland, Cave Mid to Falcha. 1,000 welcomes and 1,000 thanks.
Grazie. dottoressa Nadia Crescente, come abbiamo già detto, ricopre un ruolo davvero rilevante a livello regionale, un collegamento diretto tra le scuole, tra le istituzioni, proprio nell'ambito del programma Erasmus. La professoressa conosce benissimo l'inglese, però vedrà lei come... Ok, thank you. Thank you.
Innanzitutto in italiano, io sono Nadia Crescente e
docente in comando presso l'ufficio scolastico regionale al 1 settembre del 2022. Quindi innanzitutto i saluti al direttore generale, come il dirigente appunto ha già menzionato la dottoressa Iunti, che proprio insieme al dirigente dell'ufficio competente, il dottore Greco, il referente istituzionale, il dottore Benincasa, erano qui ad Ossobbia per festeggiare insieme alla Farina dell'Erasmus Day. So we try to switch to English, please. So as a teacher, temporarily working at the regional school office, and as you may know, we strongly support the Erasmus Plus program, and we do it in team with ambassadors, and Soverato is one of them, and we do it in several different ways in order to go beyond and to reach Poland, Greece, Ireland, and also all the other countries part of Europe, and I would say even international dimension. So, in italiano vi dico semplicemente che noi come ufficio scolastico regionale supportiamo il programma Erasmus Plus in diversi modi e sempre in squadra. All'ufficio scolastico infatti c'è un team che si compone non solo di me ma delle tre istituzionali storicamente impegnato in questa attività di promozione, ma insieme con gli ambasciatori. A livello regionale la professoressa Sabina Moniaci è una degli ambasciatori che offre corsi di formazione come è già stato promosso insomma a gennaio al piano regionale. So today our topic will be English, if I'm not wrong. So let me say that English is not just a language, it's a key. It's a key to connect people coming from different countries, coming from different cultures, and I would also say coming from different backgrounds. So today we are from different parts of the world, and this is an international meeting, and having an international meeting in Calabria, I think it's a really big event. So I'm pretty sure that at the end of this international intercultural day, we will be richer. And we will be richer people, not only for us, but especially for our students, for our community, so for our European citizens. Thank you very much for organizing it, and I'm looking forward to learn a lot from this meeting. In italiano riassumo dicendo che questo evento è un evento non solo interculturale ma anche internazionale, e avere eventi internazionali in Calabria credo che sia uno dei nostri obiettivi raggiunti e da raggiungere sempre di più e in più parti. Perché? Perché fondamentalmente ampliamo, come si è già detto, le nostre scuole, ci miglioriamo, quindi oggi impareremo tanto, sicuramente alla fine di questo evento saremo tutti più ricchi. Non lo faremo solo per noi, è già comunque qualcosa, la formazione professionale continua, ma sicuramente lo faremo per i nostri studenti, per la nostra comunità e per i nostri cittadini europei, che lo saranno, ma non solo sin da ora. Grazie.
Ok, questo è il nostro progetto. This is our project, and this is a multiplier event which is created in order to disseminate our aims. The smart goal of the project is to increase the professional capacity of the teachers so that they can transfer their competence to the students. Lo scopo principale di questo progetto è di arricchire le competenze digitali e linguistiche dei nostri insegnanti di lingua inglese. Il metodo può essere adottato anche a qualsiasi livello, come vedrete, e si tratta di un approccio comprehensive, inclusivo, comprensivo e soprattutto inclusivo, dove nessuno viene lasciato indietro. It is an inclusive approach where nobody is left behind, and it is in the framework of the European priorities of the enriching of the competence, of the basic competence, the Europeization, the digitalizations, and even the inclusion tied to sustainability. Why we began this project? Because after COVID, we realized that students' interest had decreased, but at the same time, their digital competence had augmented. So we tried to orientate their natural inclination towards the world of education. Abbiamo visto che in seguito al Covid l'interesse dei nostri ragazzi è diminuito, ma parallelamente è aumentato l'interesse per la tecnologia e quindi perché non orientare e declinare l'interesse per la tecnologia verso uno scopo costruttivo che è quello appunto del miglioramento delle competenze della lingua inglese. So these are the partners. They come from the Lumina Foundation, which is the chief coordinator. Then we have the prestigious Atlantic Language Academy. Then there is our school. Then we have two really interesting schools coming from Poland, Lodwieczko and Lodwata. The international school, which is a really prestigious school, which is located in Belgrade. Then the Platon School, it is a wonderful school which is on the basis of the Olympus mountain in Ekaterini. And then we have another partner, the NGO coming from Estonia. We have a website, abbiamo questo sito web, and you are invited to go inside. We have already opened it, and here you can find everything about the project. So you can see after the partners, you can see all the objective, you can see even the staff. Can you click on the staff, please? Quindi vedete c'è tutto lo staff con le varie competenze che sono proprie di questo staff. Lo staff è italiano, Italian staff is constituted by really a lot of people because we intend to have a great staff which is composed both from administrative and teaching staff, without ignoring the technical side, which was really, really important in the implementation of the project. But let's go back to our project really quickly. As this was really a good and a rich financed project, it had a really great budget to distribute among the partners. And as you know, when you have a big budget, a really huge budget, and you have it approved, you need to produce some tangible outcomes, which can be repeated in other locations, in other schools, in other environment. Il progetto ha un potere anche economico molto molto elevato e la sua approvazione è stata deliberata in Polonia. Il budget è stato ripartito tra i partner che si sono impegnati nella creazione dei cosiddetti intellectual output. Ora, oggi noi avremo la possibilità di illustrarvene alcuni assieme ad alcuni esempi pratici di queste nuove lezioni che sono state create dai nostri professori di inglese e di informatica. Today we will have the chance to propose to you some of our intellectual outputs, these functional outcomes that can be repeated in all the other schools and that are, as you can see, the first one was an analysis of the language acquisition potentials among teens. Then we had a mapping of language teaching and learning in these times. Then we created, and it is very important, a self-assessment tool for teachers and an online database of digital resources. Nei primi 4 output voi vedrete un'analisi, perché per poter creare un progetto che dia dei prodotti tangibili è necessario partire da alcune indagini davvero accurate. Se noi non capiamo i bisogni dei nostri potenziali clienti, non possiamo produrre qualcosa di innovativo, qualcosa di vero, di creativo, che abbia un risultato tangibile e ripetibile. Quindi c'è stata una mappatura dei metodi di insegnamento e di apprendimento. What I want to say is that the process of learning must not be seen just from one side. It is a reciprocal and mutual comprehension. Il processo di apprendimento e insegnamento non deve essere visto come un processo in direzione univoca, è un processo biunivoco. Per questo noi abbiamo deciso di intendere orientare il nostro percorso di formazione prima per gli insegnanti, in modo che loro potessero trasmetterlo ai nostri studenti. Quindi è stato creato un sistema di autovalutazione per i nostri insegnanti e credetemi, ora ce lo illustreranno, c'è un database pieno di risorse che possono essere utilizzati da tutti e a tutti i livelli. Ora pregherei i miei steward e le mie hostess di procedere alla distribuzione ai nostri ospiti, ma anche qui alla nostra regia, diciamo, al nostro tavolo di regia, dei relatori, gli altri 2 prodotti che sono stati appena confezionati grazie all'ausilio tecnico del professore Perugino. Si tratta dell'intellectual outcome number 5 e number 6, ovvero nel numero 5 sono ovviamente disponibili anche online, però noi abbiamo creduto opportuno anche darvene una copia e abbiamo la possibilità di spiegare questi nuovi metodi di insegnamento nel prodotto intellettuale numero 5 e una serie di lezioni prodotte dalle scuole nell'intellectual output numero 6. Poi alla fine, verso la fine del nostro breve evento, avremo proprio la possibilità di provare, di testare 2 tipi di lezioni. Lascio ora la parola a Mr. Mike Dirhali. Okay? He's the Chief Department of Language Teaching in Platon School in Greece. He will illustrate our first output. But before, I wanted to show you some of our meetings that had already occurred. Vedrete dei poster che hanno creato ha creato il team italiano in seguito ai 4 meeting fisici che sono avvenuti all'interno del nostro progetto. Il primo è avvenuto a Belgrado, in Serbia, quindi siamo stati ospiti di questa scuola prestigiosa International School. Poi siamo stati in Polonia, dove abbiamo avuto l'opportunità di testare prima con noi stessi alcune di queste nuove metodologie. So the second meeting was in Poland and we had the opportunity of testing and verifying this new methodology. Also speaking with our partners that come from the Azzorre, we had the chance of stating that even if English language is so interesting and should be learned well, actually after COVID, students show some signs of disengagement. That's why we shall try to orientate their natural inclination towards technology to a proper aim. And then we met in Greece. You can see there were only teachers working on the digital resources. And last but not least, our last meeting in Ireland just a week ago, where we had the opportunity to have a brilliant lesson. Both the teacher by Ms. Kurva and Mrs. Oite, and also our students who will relate later about this wonderful experience. And thanks for your attention. And now I can leave the word for a brief contribution to Mr. Mike. Thank you.
So, that is definitely good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to say a big thank you to the Italian partner for having us here, for offering us a great experience and opportunity to serve what we have worked on so far. So, as Sabina has already said, my name is Mike Kalidis, and I would like to present the first intellectual output. Because in fact, this was the beginning of everything. What we were trying to find out was to check the perspective of students and teachers at the same time on the use of technology. So in order to do so, we created two questionnaires. One distributed to the students coming from the countries of the participants, and one questionnaire distributed to the teachers. So the first one regarding
Hanno creato due questionari, uno rivolto agli studenti e uno rivolto ai docenti, in modo da capire le effettive necessità.
the second slide. No. All right. First of all, this slide shows that students fortunately consider speaking English and writing English quite important in our days. So, as it has already been stated, the English language is not just knowledge; it's a skill that we should all acquire and use properly. In this study, we have 423 students taking part and answering the questionnaire. We had, on average, 50 students from each country, but Poland was an exception because we had three partners from Poland. So there were 155 students answering the questionnaire. And so after having found the students' perception on the importance of English, we also asked them which two daily activities they thought they had the most positive impact on improving their English. Well, they didn't really appreciate English classes, but they really thought that watching movies and even real-life interaction were among the most important ways to acquire the language. However, technology was not considered among the ways by which students improve their English skills. Although they feel extremely confident, as you will see in the next graph, they feel extremely confident about their knowledge on technology and the level of their technological skill. So students probably have not realized the power of technology on acquiring a foreign language. And
Just briefly, praticamente è stata somministrata a ben 423 studenti questa indagine, dalla quale è emerso che è vero che gli studenti consideravano importante l'acquisizione della lingua inglese, ma che non l'avevano mai associata ad un uso proprio della tecnologia, benché gli stessi fossero ben avvezzi all'uso della tecnologia. Quindi usavano l'inglese un po' nelle classi, ma non gli piaceva come veniva insegnata, ma lo usavano soprattutto per guardare film o comunque per ascoltare musica.
So this confidence on using technology does not really align with the confidence of the teachers, because as we will see, we have also distributed different questionnaire to the teachers, as I've already stated, and in fact we have included almost 15 teachers from each country participating in the project, and the next two slides show that teachers seem to be willing to use repositories. Repositories can be thought, let's say, as a storage system containing material to be used during lessons, and they are very easily categorized in order to find quickly and easily the most appropriate solution for our lessons. So they seem to be willing to use repositories, and most of them have actually made use of some repositories. But there is also a percentage that is not sure whether they have used one or not. And this means lack of certainty on what tools teachers should use or have already used. So we have a huge gap between students and teachers. Students are really confident, and teachers, on the other hand, want to use technology, but at the same time, they are not that sure whether they are doing the right thing.
Quindi lo stesso, più o meno lo stesso questionario è stato somministrato ai docenti, gli è stato chiesto se loro in un certo senso intendessero utilizzare la tecnologia a fini didattici, e loro sono rimasti un po' confusi perché da una parte volevano utilizzarla, ma non erano del tutto sicuri se potevano farlo. E quindi c'era questo grande gap, questo divario tra studenti che volevano sì imparare l'inglese ma erano un po' demotivati, dall'altra parte erano molto bravi nell'uso delle tecnologie, e dall'altra parte questi docenti che non erano sicuri di poter utilizzare queste tecnologie a scopo didattico.
So we also try to elaborate on this lack of confidence and try to find out what's going on. So as we can see on the next slide, the confidence on using digital tools cannot be compared to that of the students, because they have all even requested a short video instruction on how to use the digital solutions to different methodologies. So they want to be shown the way regarding how a digital tool can work in the right way. And moreover, an even greater number would also like to see examples of how to use the tool in practice before they actually use it. So I would say that they have asked for some practical solutions and some examples on the way that they can use all these tools in order to feel more comfortable and confident during the classroom implementation. Because let's be honest, when a teacher uses a digital tool in the classroom, probably one of their biggest fear is to be, let's say, exposed to their students, because we know that young people are really aware of all these technological solutions. And while we want to implement all these solutions in the classroom, we want to make our lessons more interesting and innovative at the same time. We also have this nightmare at the back of our heads.
E quindi i docenti hanno anche ammesso di essere un po' a disagio perché spesso i loro alunni erano più tecnologici di loro stessi, e quindi noi abbiamo pensato che potesse essere utile fornire a questi studenti, a questi insegnanti, delle metodologie, dei database, in modo che loro potessero attingere, migliorare le loro competenze tecnologiche e quindi poi trasferire l'insegnamento della lingua inglese attuata attraverso un uso appropriato delle app.
So, Okay. So after having these results, we have discussed them all together, and we thought that we should make something in order to help our colleagues to come up with new ways, new tools, new methodologies in order to make the English class more interesting and also attractive to the students. So this is why we tried to create a digital resources repository. In fact, it was a collection including material repositories and a list with technological tools, for which my colleague, Mr. Stanislav, will present right now.
Troverete sul sito quindi una lista, una repository di tutte le app e i tool che possono essere utilizzate per l'insegnamento della lingua inglese in un modo divertente e creativo. Mr. Stanislav dalla Polonia ci illustrerà adesso un attimo questa repository che voi potete trovare cliccando sul sito Englife.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stanislav, and I work as an English teacher in a secondary school in Lubiecko, in Poland. I'm going to present intellectual output 4. The objective of IO4 was to review existing digital resources and create an online database. This database is available to a wide community of teachers as a, let's call it, reference point. Its goal is to support English language teachers with a toolbox. To achieve our aims, we collaborated with other partners of the project in order to equip them with the necessary resources.
Quindi voi potete accedere a questa lista di risorse online cliccando sul sito e potrete anche, questa è la cosa interessante, alla fine contribuire nel caso voi voleste proporre degli atti. Potete testarli in questa collection, voi vedrete i vari tipi di lezione, di online varie, vedete che sono segnate, sono tutte quante ben comprensibili. Ogni partner ha contribuito proponendone alcuni, li abbiamo testati, li abbiamo verificati e abbiamo visto che possono essere davvero utili per l'insegnamento e apprendimento della lingua inglese.
The repositories have been divided according to cost.
La lista anche può essere visualizzata secondo diversi filtri. Ci sono i tools, ovvero gli strumenti per l'insegnamento che sono gratuiti, ci sono quelli a pagamento, quelli che sono per una parte all'inizio, come avviene per le varie app che voi scaricate, all'inizio sono gratis, poi ad un certo punto diventano a pagamento e poi quelle interamente a pagamento. Quindi siamo partiti da quelle gratis fino ad arrivare a quelle a pagamento.
Okay, the other factors are content type, usage, and language. When it comes to tools, similar division has been done.
Se andate nella sezione tools, la stessa strutturazione è stata adottata, quindi avrete sia le metodologie con i vari tool che possono essere abbinati.
We have goals, type of tools, and skills. Some of the tools are quite popular and they might be known to you, such as Kahoot, Canva, or Padlet, and maybe you are using them during your lessons. But I'm pretty sure you will also find new ones as well.
Alcune di esse sono davvero popolari come Kahoot che voi già utilizzate, ma ce ne sono tantissime, tantissime altre che sono state tutte analizzate e che sono davvero utili, divertenti e creano e danno all'insegnamento dell'inglese una nuova connotazione, un nuovo approccio metodologico sia per gli insegnanti ma che poi ovviamente si riflette sui nostri studenti.
Okay. At the end of the web page, there's a form which you can fill in if you know any other tools or stories which maybe they have not been included here. You can share them with us.
Come vi ho già detto prima, c'è anche la possibilità di inserire dei suggerimenti che poi verranno ovviamente valutati dal gruppo di progetto ed eventualmente inseriti. È una repository immensa che it implied a long lot and a heavy load of work among all the partnership. È stato davvero un lavoro che si è protratto per 2 anni, ma credetemi, potete davvero attingere e rendere il vostro insegnamento più efficace.
I hope you will find these visual resources very useful and objective in the process of teaching and learning. They can really involve your students and make a big difference to language education. Thank you for listening.
Lui si augura che questo nuovo approccio sia condiviso da voi tutti e che rendi il vostro insegnamento più efficace. Ora cedo un attimo la parola a Miss Anetta che introdurrà un attimo la metodologia, poi ci sarà una breve pausa e poi torneremo velocemente con 2 esempi pratici di lezione davvero velocemente accattivanti. Grazie.
I don't think so. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Aneta and I'm an English teacher living and working in Poland. I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm sorry my voice is a little bit hoarse. I've come down with the flu. I will try my best not to lose it before I finish. So today I would like to explain how Englife methodology can be implemented into our classroom, English language classroom. But before I begin, we need to have a short revision of what has been said so far, okay? So first of all, I would like to go back to, yeah, is it better? Okay. Okay, so first of all, I would like to focus on the definition of Englife methodology. A lot has been said today about the Englife project, but now we are going to focus on Englife methodology. So what is the definition? What is Englife? If you could have a look at this slide, and I will give you a hand. If you put all of these words together, you will come up with a nice, simple definition of Englife methodology. Would somebody like to give it a try? Okay, then I will help you. So what is Englife methodology? It's a methodology which is inclusive and innovative, and whose main aim is to integrate technology into language teaching, both inside and outside the classroom. And the main focus of the methodology is to enable students to become lifelong learners, autonomous lifelong learners, because autonomous is a very important word here as well that we should stress, and also to enhance their 21st century skills.
L'obiettivo principale, come avrete capito, è quello di rendere i nostri ragazzi autonomi nell'apprendimento delle lingue, abbinando l'insegnamento della lingua a un uso proprio della tecnologia.
Okay, so as you already know, technology plays a very important, crucial role in Englife methodology. And why is that? Because young people, and there are quite many with us here, Young people need to see the connection between what they are doing in the classroom and their lives, experiences, and interests beyond. And we strongly believe that technology can help us create these connections. It has great potential, but we have to unlock it. And in order to do that, we need to understand how to implement technology in the classroom. And here is something that I think pictures really well what Mike has mentioned after we have carried out our questionnaires. So what happens? Even though we have been using technology for a very long time, we teachers still face challenges, difficulties in using technology. And look at students. Students are excited. They feel really proficient in using the technology. However, they are not very skillful at using technology to support their own learning.
Vedete che gli insegnanti sono stravolti, stanchi, anche se utilizzano la tecnologia, mentre dall'altra parte vedete dei ragazzi che sono felici nell'utilizzo della tecnologia, ma che non sanno orientare le loro potenzialità e i loro talenti verso un uso proprio della tecnologia.
Okay, so the question is, what needs to be done? So we already know that we teachers need skills and confidence in using technology. Because when we have the skills and confidence, then we can teach our students how to use technology to support their own learning. And how can we do that? Well, workshops for students, it sounds big and difficult, but trust me, it's not. I would like to give you an example what I mean by workshops. So whenever I begin my lessons with a new class, and the first lesson is usually about classroom rules, assessment criteria, but one of the first, and the course book, let's say, but one of the first classes is also about the technology we are going to use on a regular basis, because this is just a fraction of what I use, but this is something that I use very often. So we go through all the digital tools and we explain, we have a discussion. I quite often ask my students which of the tools they already know, which of the tools are new, how they use the tools, whether they enjoyed the way these particular tools were used in primary school. I know that I can learn from my students as well, because maybe they can give me a good example from their previous experience.
All'inizio di ogni lezione, quindi lei intendeva chiedere ai propri ragazzi quali di questi strumenti tecnologici già conoscesse, in modo da eventualmente anche lei imparare o comunque condividere le loro aspettative e i loro bisogni.
Okay, is there anything new here?
Per voi c'è qualcosa di nuovo qui? Do you all know these methods? Conoscete tutti questi?
Do you know all of the tools which are listed here?
Oh, no. Also, I am asking to the Adorian, do you know all? Okay.
Flippity? Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, good. I need 1 second to connect back to SharePoint, okay?
I would like to
What's the
tell
question?
you, no, not the question, just to say that in the Azores, we have a regional repository.
Okay. You can.
A regional repository for the teachers. Called REDA.
Rather, maybe we have already included
It's
rather.
regional resources, digital regional resources open.
Okay.
So teachers can use, so they use without license. Everything is
They
free
need.
for all the teachers.
Okay, I think we have already
Yes,
included
already.
it. We have it is already in the database, but thank
That's
you
why
for
they have
signaling
so
them.
many
And so, in Portugal, we had already.
Not in Portugal.
No, sorry, in the Azores.
It's regional.
Right.
It's not the entire country. It's regional.
In region, just in the Azores, loro utilizzano, hanno già questa piattaforma che consente loro di accedere a questi strumenti gratuitamente.
All right, so thank you for your patience. The website went inactive. We had to activate it again. Anyways, the first thing on the list was SharePoint. And SharePoint is my digital space that I use with my students. And I always take them to SharePoint, to their virtual classroom on one of the first days. And I lead them through the website. And what they usually find here is well, a selection of text that they can read. The last one we did is on ChatGPT. I give them information about our extracurricular classes, and I have extra lessons for my students related to IELTS, to the preparation to IELTS exam. I provide my students with a list of very useful online resources so they can reach them, they can access them directly from our virtual classroom. These are related to enhancing very important skills, but basically vocabulary, grammar, and also reading and listening. I'm not going to go into these apps because we don't have enough time. Then if we scroll down, there are two dictionaries that my students can access easily. Dictionaries that I recommend using. One is Polish English Dictionary, and the other one is Collins English Dictionary. And then we have my timetable and the group's timetable here. But some of you said they didn't know Flippity. So here I can very easily go to Flippity, where there are all the names of my students, and I can do a number of rearrangements using these names. So spinning wheel is just one, but sometimes we need to use single names randomly. Sometimes we want to use a lineup so that the next student can get ready because he or she knows there will be the next ones to be, let's say, asked a question.
Allora, questo è un metodo molto simpatico e per i ragazzi proprio con poco d'ansia perché c'è la ruota e quindi si possono ovviamente inserire prima i parametri se devono essere raggruppati a gruppi di 2, a gruppi di 3, eccetera, eccetera, se la ruota deve agire casualmente, se può essere ripetuta, però effettivamente garantisce una certa oggettività da parte del docente che spesso i nostri alunni criticano perché dicono è sempre a me interroga. No, in questo modo è il sistema e quindi anche un attimino, anche se provoca qualche infarto così al volo, ma è la stessa cosa di quando noi insegnanti scendiamo col dito o col mouse all'interno del registro.
I can't speak Italian, but I think Savina has already explained that you can create groups and you can have teams here and many more and much more. However, the most important thing is that it's very simple to use because you need a list of your students' names. You copy and paste it into Flippity, you click generate, you save the link, and you can use it and access it very quickly. Okay, but back to our presentation. So we know these tools, and now I would like to demonstrate how I use Canva and Screencast-O-Matic, which has recently changed its name to ScreenPoll. Do you use Screencast-O-Matic here? ScreenPoll, okay, and how do you use it? Just to record a lesson, okay. During one of the first classes with my students, I asked them to create a poster using Canva. And now again, I will leave the presentation and go quickly to Padlet, one of my favorite tools. So I prepared the poster myself using Canva. I asked my students to sign up to both Canva and Screencast-O-Matic, ScreenPoll right now. And I ask them to prepare one slide about themselves. Usually when these are new students, I ask them to prepare a slide that would be related to their interests, their hobbies.
Allora, lei ha chiesto ai suoi ragazzi di preparare una slide riferita ai propri interessi per presentarsi, utilizzando Canva.
All right, and then when the poster is ready, my students use Screencast-O-Matic to record a 2-minute speech based on the poster using this voice recording tool.
Utilizzando Screencast-O-Matic, i ragazzi hanno la possibilità, grazie alla telecamera all'interno del computer, di registrarsi e inserire anche la parte vocale.
So, for example,
today I'm going to talk about my biggest interest, which is art. At first, I'm going to tell you how it all started. Then, we'll move on to a point.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you a tiny bit of what students present. And this girl is really into architecture, so she prepared this one-slide project based on her hobby. Sometimes I ask students to prepare a very similar one-slide project based on anything they want. And, for example, there is one student that actually used this task to solve his own problem, which was not getting enough sleep. I will only play a little of it. Okay, sometimes it happens that the sound quality is not perfect. So instead of, continuing, you have already seen enough to show you the idea behind using Canva and Screencast-O-Matic.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
How many hours do the students work on this kind of project? For example, to create a poster, to record.
Okay, creating posters usually takes place at school. And it takes them about, half an hour, I would say. But recording takes place at home because this is what they prepare. We don't have, we don't have the conditions for them to do that in our school. So they have to do the recording at home.
So 1 hour and a half? The whole.
I think it's the maximum, 1 hour and a half. But I think it also depends on their confidence and how much they like what they have recorded, because some of them will probably spend an hour and others will do it in one go in 5 minutes. Okay, I also use Canva to create Instagram posts because in my school, my students run an account on Instagram which is dedicated to English language learning.
È anche utile per creare dei post particolari su Instagram e invece di copiarli potete farli direttamente voi, sarete più originali, magari in inglese.
Alright, now back to what needs to be done. I told you about skills and confidence, now preparation. We all know that using technology requires a lot of preparation on the teacher's side. And the technology we use needs to be well selected and carefully adopted and then implemented with a clear understanding of the benefits we want to get and the outcomes we want to achieve. But with thousands of digital tools and applications, how do we know which tools we should use? Well, here is where Englife methodology and Englife website comes into play. I'm sure it will be very useful, but again, I would like to give you an example of what else needs to be done before we make that choice. Back to some of my favorite tools. Anybody who knows why Edmodo is crossed out? Because it doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry to announce that, but it was closed down. I don't know if you used Edmodo here.
We used it for some projects before, and it was a really good platform for education, but now it does not work.
Exactly. I mean, I was devastated when I found out, and I was really frustrated because they didn't give a single explanation why. But then I thought, well, okay, Edmodo is probably not the only platform that is out there for me. So I started looking for new solutions because, usually when one door closes, another door opens. And this is how I actually started using Office Pro and SharePoint. And I think it's not such a bad thing. Now I can see that it provides more opportunities. But what else do we need to consider in order to choose and implement technology effectively? In my opinion, we need to ask ourselves three crucial questions. First of all, is what are the learning goals? What is the content that I want to teach my students? The second question is, what is the pedagogy that I want to use? And the third one is, what technology do I want to use, and how can this technology help to achieve the goals? And these are the three main components of Englife methodology: content, language, pedagogy, and technology. And we believe in Englife methodology that effective pedagogy and use of technology, ethical, I think I don't have to say that because everybody should know, these can result in 21st century classroom.
In poche parole, combinare sempre adottando delle misure di sicurezza telematica, una pratica tecnologica al buon insegnamento del lingue.
Okay, so effective pedagogy, what does that mean? These are all the pedagogies that aim to enable students to become active learning, to go through active and meaningful learning experiences. These are all the pedagogies which recognize that our students have different needs and interests, and they can cater or customize. We can use them to customize the needs our students have. These are the pedagogies that foster teamwork and collaboration, because we know that learning is a social process and our students learn from one another. And finally, these are pedagogies that actually recognize that technology can facilitate learning and teaching. And technology promotes engagement and motivation.
Abbiamo quindi analizzato questi diversi approcci metodologici e abbiamo applicato la tecnologia.
Okay, so now one of the things we actually did in our project was to create and then carry out a lesson based on environment. So we had to take these three things into consideration. We knew that the content was climate change. I don't know how it is in Italy or Greece or in Ireland, but in Poland, we talk about climate change quite a lot. So our students are not very enthusiastic that they know it's very important, okay? We cannot neglect that, but they actually react like, okay, climate change again, we know everything. And actually it's true because they do know quite a lot. So we thought that we had to add a new element to our lesson. So we asked our students to reflect for a couple of minutes on climate change. They could write whatever they wanted. And then we analyzed it. And we all realized that even though they know really a lot about climate change, actually none of them mentioned migration caused by climate change. So we thought, okay, that's the new element we will use to make them interested, engaged and motivated.
Tutte le lezioni che voi troverete nell'IO 6 sono improntate sulla sostenibilità, però ogni lezione è stata adattata ad un bisogno specifico. In questo caso lei ha abbinato il tema del cambiamento climatico al problema del migratorio.
Okay, so we knew that now the content was climate change and migration. So climate change and the impact it has had on human migration, also the challenges faced by environmental migrants, and the measures that some countries adopt to tackle the problem. Now, pedagogy. We decided to use project-based learning. not only because of all the characteristics that I mentioned when I was talking about all the instructional approaches, but for one more reason. But now I need to go back to last year when we had our meeting in Dubiecko, and Aoife from Atlantic Language School demonstrated how she uses podcasts with her students. And I was, like really into it. And I thought, I have never done it. I have to do it. I have to try it. So when this lesson came up, I thought that will be the best opportunity for me and for my students to learn something completely new, something they have never done.
Proprio per dimostrare che nel corso del progetto c'è stato uno scambio costante di proposte, di suggerimenti. La professoressa Olfe, che proviene dalla prestigiosa scuola di Mr. John, ha suggerito addirittura l'uso del podcast. Per la professoressa polacca è risultato un attimino insolito, però lei l'ha accolta come una sfida, una challenge, e l'ha applicata alla sua lezione. Questo è ancora un'ulteriore prova di come noi tutti insegnanti siamo un po' evoluti verso questo nuovo modo di pensare, di interagire, per sentirci ancora un po' più coinvolti, per una metodologia che viene adattata alle esigenze degli adulti, ma che diventa sempre più interessante, più coinvolgente e che consente anche a noi insegnanti di adottare nuove pratiche, di utilizzare nuovi strumenti.
Okay, and then the last thing to consider, technology. How do I use the tools I want to use in the classroom? So I thought, okay, the first thing I want to do is to have a revision on climate change. So what do we use to revise vocabulary? Quizlet is probably the best option, at least for me and my students. Then, the idea behind the project was for my students to engage in online research, gather the information about climate change, caused migration, and present it. But before we teach our students how to present something, we have to give them an example of what they are going to be looking out for on the internet. So here, I thought, when we want to give our students an example, what do we usually choose as teachers? I wanted to show them a region around the world and pick one and to show them the story of the people who live there, but their region is threatened by climate change. So how would you present that? Usually we choose an article or YouTube, a video. And this is what I was going to do, but then I thought there must be something different, and actually there was. So let me now present something that is called interactive documentary. Also, let me just say, this is a Padlet devoted to that project with my students. I use Padlet to gather all the materials that I use in one particular project. The sound is okay. Okay, so this is a documentary. This is an interactive documentary, and I would like to present only the introduction. It takes about 1 minute, and then I will tell you what I did with it. So together with my students, we watched the introduction. The Last Generation is the title.
I was sitting on the seawall. I didn't see the wave coming. It just pushed me off, and I thought it was something else. I thought it was like a monster. come to the church. So I ran here and sit, watching everybody yelling, watching the babies crying. And my grandmother told me to come to the church. So I ran here and sit.
My mom woke me in the middle of the night. When I woke up, I saw a lot of water. It was around my knees. People were evacuating very quickly. I wasn't scared, but I was shocked. In that moment, I started talking to myself. Can't that happen because we are bad people? Does it happen because of human activity? Does it happen because we make it happen? Or does it happen because it usually happens?
Vedete, il ragazzo ha detto una cosa molto triste. È successo perché siamo persone cattive? O è successo perché doveva succedere? O è successo perché lo abbiamo provocato noi?
Okay, it's a really thought-provoking and really touching interactive documentary. So we watched the introduction, of course preceded by a short discussion, but I don't have time to explain all the details. And then I put my students into 3 groups, and usually that's 5 people in one group. And each group was supposed to continue with this interactive documentary. And each group was supposed to focus on one. But apart from that, they were given handouts, which you can also find on this Padlet. The link is in our brochure. And each group was given questions that they had to focus on. And then the next day, they would present. It was like a jigsaw learning activity in which they shared the information they had learned. But trust me, they were so into that documentary that even though their task was to watch only one story told by one of these children, actually most of them watched all of them.
Thank you.
Okay, and now back to my Padlet. Okay, so this is how we presented the problem, the issue. And then our students were supposed to prepare a presentation on the chosen country. So first of all, they were given the country that they actually drew, because it was like in a lottery. We had a list of countries, regions that are threatened by climate change. Each group had to pick one, and they had to do online research, of course, based on the list of websites they were provided. And they were supposed to present. And again, how do we usually ask students to present? They make a presentation. But we thought, okay, another presentation, no. Let's try to do something different. So this time they prepared infographics using Canva. And again, on this Padlet, you can find and have a look at all the infographics, but this is not the key information I am trying to get to. You know what the final product was? It was creating a podcast. So I asked myself, how do I do that? I have never used podcasts. My students have never used podcasts. And what was said today, I didn't feel confident enough to do it, but I thought, well, they are digital natives. Probably they will do it better than I think. I just need to guide them. So I prepared this guidance, so to say. So I explained what podcasting is. And then I gave them some guidelines, what tools they could use. So I had read a blog on the best tools to use to create podcasts. And I was offered, I came up with some names like Audacity and Anchor. The only one I thought was Vocaro, this very easy tool that is used for voice recording. So I also added this one. I told them about the duration, that it should be about 10 minutes. And technique, I told them, could be a monologue dialogue interview, number of people, it could be a single person, but also a pair or a group. of three or four people. And then I gave them instructions on what I expected them to do. So I wanted them to gather as much information from our project, from everything they have done, and they have been working for 2 weeks, gathering a lot of important information. I wanted to encourage them to include an interview with imaginary eyewitnesses or guest experts giving their opinions about the subject matter, and they could but didn't have to include the following. So I'm not sure if you can see well, but I can quickly read. Key terms related to climate change, information about climate change, the Marshall Islands case, so the one that we have just watched, climate refugees from the country of their research, and also at that time, it happened so that there was a climate conference in Egypt. So I asked my students to follow the event using the BBC website because I think it was the best one, at least for me, and to listen carefully to all the solutions that country leaders would come up with to tackle the problem of climate change.
Allora, in breve lei ha chiesto ai suoi ragazzi di documentarsi perché c'è anche la conferenza in Egitto e ha chiesto loro stessi uno studio dal punto di vista tecnico per la creazione del podcast. Quindi i ragazzi hanno realizzato delle interviste, sono stati molto attivi, hanno lavorato a gruppo, per certe cose hanno lavorato a scuola, per certe cose hanno lavorato da casa.
Okay. So I explained everything and I said, that's it. Now it's your time to do the job. And I asked my students if they had any questions. They didn't. Okay, I was quite excited to see what they would come up with. And what they came up with was really mind-blowing. Most of them used Anchor and ended up having their podcasts on Spotify. And today I would like to present just one. In this podcast, we have 3 of our students. One is a native speaker, so you will be so just don't be surprised that her English is so perfect. She's a native speaker who moved to Poland some time ago. She was also involved in creating podcasts, and she's doing this one with 2 other students. And I would like you to listen to just 1 minute of this podcast, and that will be all. I've been talking for quite a long time now. Sorry. You should give me a microphone.
Così non finisce mai.
Abbiamo i tempi europei.
No.
Non abbiamo i tempi europei.
New project about European kind of lecturing, ok?
Allora, ci sarà 1 minuto di questo video, poi inviterò velocemente i ragazzi italiani per la presentazione del logbook e poi chiederemo a 3 ragazzi per fare il quiz finale, dopodiché berremo qualche cosa e potrete andare, mangeremo un dolcetto, sì. Siamo velocissimi, vai.
Okay.
To begin this topic, I will quote the well-known young Swedish activist, Greta Thunberg. To all of you who choose to look the other way every day because you seem more frightened of the changes that can prevent catastrophic climate change than the catastrophic climate change itself, your silence is worst of all. This is truly a problem that hurts our planet more and more each day, and in this podcast, we plan on educating you more about this issue while we also showing you how clueless some people are about this issue. I believe it is finally time to bring in our 2 guest speakers, Ignor Ant, your everyday average person plucked from the streets, and Bright Act, our very own climate change expert.
Hi, I'm Ignorant. This is my first time on the podcast. So cool. I was told I'd be quizzed everything on my knowledge of climate change at some point. I'm so ready. I may not be an expert, but I know a lot.
Hi, I'm the expert on climate change and I've devoted my life to working to solve this issue. I'm going to be collecting from answers and
Okay, I think it's enough to give you just the idea of what it looked like. So to summarize, I need to go back to the the slide with what needs to be done. We talk a lot about skills, but I think confidence might be even more important because it looks like when we are confident and we know how to guide our students, then they will quickly learn how to use a particular digital tool because they are digital natives. And we also need to be enthusiastic because if we are not enthusiastic, then our students
Se non
will
siamo
not be.
entusiasti noi, non lo saranno nemmeno i nostri studenti. Grazie, Mr.
Now I
Hilda.
would like to hand
Thank you. We'd like to invite Mrs. Georgia. Georgia, come quickly. As you know, we spent a week in Ireland and Georgia contributed with a logbook. Tutte le volte che noi rientriamo da un viaggio, i nostri ragazzi hanno un compito. C'è chi fa un video, c'è chi crea un logbook, tutti creano delle memories e tutto questo materiale è reperibile nelle sottosezioni del nostro sito web, che ovviamente è dedicato all'Erasmus, che contiene più di 20 progetti, tanti, e che possono incontrare ok. No, veloce. No.
Hi everyone, I'm Georgia and I'm from the fourth year in the school and I'm going to present the logbook I made with my friend. So I'm going to talk about the first day that we spent. So in the first day we spent the morning at school. We were divided into groups and each group went into different classes. First, we introduced ourselves to our teacher and classmates, and then we learned new things about the Irish culture that most of us didn't know. We also practiced our English skills through tabs and listening to videos related to Ireland. We had a half-an-hour break, then we used to socialize with each other before returning to class again. Then, after the lessons, we had lunch, but unfortunately it started to rain, and then the guided tour of the city that was scheduled for the afternoon was postponed to the next day. In the second day, we spent the morning at school again, but this time the teacher introduced us to the project that we had to create in the following days. We were divided into groups of 3 or 4 people. We were asked to edit a video blog about our mobility in Ireland. Later, the professor asked us to formulate some questions for the interview that we had to do in the afternoon to some Irish boys from the beach school. In the afternoon, we conducted the interviews and we had a great time. And after finishing, we made the tour through Galway and visited beautiful places. On the third day, we went to the cliffs of Moher. First of all, we went to visit the Dunguire Castle. It was beautiful. We didn't get a chance to enter and visit the inside because it was closed, but we had the opportunity to walk around it and we were truly amazed. After that, we went to the cliffs and we took a long walk by the corridors. We were left without words by the beauty of the landscape. Even if the weather wasn't the best, we enjoyed every second of this trip. Going back, the driver gave us the opportunity to stop for a little bit in this place where we were able to stay closer to the end of the cliff. It was marvelous, and the trip was accompanied with a little bit of laugh and we learned about the history, but the visited place with some traditional Irish music playing in the background of the bus. On the first day, we went back to the school and we started the day divided into groups. Every group with one teacher. With Mr. Oshin, we studied English grammar and did some games about it. Instead, with Mr. Ashley, we started editing the video. Then, like every day, we had our break, and then all the students with Mr. Oshin did a Kahoot based on 2 topics, English grammar and then Ireland. We had so much fun doing it because it is a different way to teach English, and it's better because there is more interaction among the students. And after all the classes, we had our lunch break, and in the afternoon, we went out all together to take a walk and to know each other even better. And on the last day, the 5th day, we went to school and we had our last opportunity to finish the video because in the afternoon, we had to show the outcome to all the teachers. And after the mid-morning break, we continued with the video, and after lunch, we got to see the teacher do a live stream talking about the project. Then we presented all the videos. We were in groups of 4 students, or mixed of course. And after the presentation, 15 students from the beach school came to the Atlantic language school to do a challenge with us. And this challenge consisted in trying all their snacks to see if we liked them or not. It was fun because we got to try something we never had before. And of course, the other students, seeing our reaction, were pretty surprised because they thought we wouldn't like them. Before leaving the Atlantic Language School, we played 2 truths and 1 lie with the Irish boys, so we got to know each other better. This was really a one-lifetime opportunity, so we are really glad that we are the first students that got to participate in this Erasmus Plus project, and we even wanted to stay longer.
Okay. Thank you. And now I would like to invite Luca. Quickly, we have no time. And Matteo for their memories, and then we shall make a little brief game of about 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Matteo. I've been part of this project with the team at Peria School. And now I'm going to read my memory about our trip we had in Ireland. This Erasmus was probably the best experience I had in a while, and there were a couple of reasons why I think this one was one of the best traveling experience I had so far. The first was for sure, I love Galway. I really enjoyed the cold and rainy weather. And the center of the city was beautiful. The roof, it was full of shops, and you can go around in various parts of the city. I love it. The people, we met a lot of people traveling. They're all very kind, and in the school and even outside, Irish people were beautiful. And also the school system of the Atlantic School was very was very focused on the students because you had less people in your class, so the teacher could have better interaction with the people, have more meaningful and knowledgeable conversation. So I can probably say I've been part of this project. Thank you so much to everyone.
Now, Luca, you share with his own experience.
Hello, I'm Luca, and I was one of the guys of the Italian team that attend for that week to this project in Galway at the Atlantic School. The first thing I would like to say is that I'm really honored to be hosted and to have attended to even for a week to that school because I really like the way how lessons were organized and the teaching method of the teachers that were really kind and their lessons were really fun and enjoyable. The city had a different weather. It was really cold and the clouds and was really cool. Clouds, rain, and snow, and for me that I live here, it was quite strange to make a habit of the weather. The city the town was really good and enjoyable, lively, even because it's a bit different for our towns. Was maybe old and it has like the old fashioned and that I really appreciated.
Okay. Now, I would like also to thank Benedetta, who was in charge of the certification for everybody today. And I would like to call 2 Azorian students for a little competition. A quick, who wants to come? Come, quickly. Please, you can stay here. And now, this is a proof of what Italian team organized inside the project. We actually dealt with the gamification. So we used the game in order to enhance the spirit of collaboration and also the acquiring of English language competences. Il team italiano, nello specifico all'interno del team progettuale, si è occupato di gamification, cioè grazie al professore Cherubino noi abbiamo utilizzato una serie di app, la maggior parte delle quali assolutamente gratuite, e siamo già riusciti, anche grazie al nostro dirigente che ci ha concesso di fare un PON specifico, di applicare questo metodo di insegnamento proprio alle lingue, allo studio della lingua straniera. I nostri ragazzi che venivano da diverse classi hanno partecipato a questo PON e poi abbiamo notato, grazie ad un confronto continuo con gli insegnanti delle altre classi, un certo miglioramento e sicuramente un interesse maggiore nei confronti della lingua inglese. Ok, you can act together. Oggi proponiamo come ultimo step di questo evento, poi sarete liberi, assaggerete qualcosina qua e poi potrete concludere la vostra giornata nel migliore dei modi. Vi lascio il microfono, vediamo chi sia il più bravo. I ragazzi saranno sottoposti a una serie di domande, sono facilissime, fatte al volo, ma voi insegnanti potete adattare, potete scrivere nelle domande quello che volete. You teacher can obviously create your own questions. We did it just for grammar, in order to demonstrate that you can start from the beginning of grammar lesson, but you can, after a lesson that you have done, write obviously the question, the proper is according to the issues you have dealt with. Go. First question, quickly.
Sure?
Are you sure? It's okay.
Although.
That's right.
Before. Since. Because. Why?
Le ragazze.
Le ragazze.
Although.
Ok.
So that.
It's very important, Chris.
When.
Yes. You have one. You will be millionaire after studying English. Thank you, everybody. Thank you and let's come to take a photo all together. Anche con I ragazzi. Forza ragazzi.
Luca, foto!
No, mi devi venire a parlare di una cosa. No, dove vuoi Allora ragazzi, fate mangiare